Hi everybody, my name's Will and this is my YouTube channel, and I thought that now that I actually have some subscribers, it would be a good idea to get some videos out maybe more than once or twice a year. And particularly lately I've been receiving a lot of emails and seeing a lot of questions in the forums about my latest video, the production side of the OS Xbox Pro video work log. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to answer a few of those questions and show you some of the techniques and tools I use to get that video completed. So probably the first thing I should do is go ahead and hit the lights here. I don't have all these lights in here just to do work. I mostly have them in here to produce the video. You can see up here I have a number of these 4-foot T12 fixtures. These fixtures are only about $12 and that includes the cost of the bulbs. Considering the amount of light they give, they're actually very energy efficient, so that's why I am choosing to use them for these projects. And hopefully you can already see the difference that they make in the video, and you don't have to worry about the auto gain of the cameras compensating for the low light levels. So now a lot of people are asking what camera I was using for this project, and I'm actually using three. The first one is this one, which is the Sanyo Exacti FH1 camcorder, which is a very, very small camcorder, relatively cheap too. I think it was about $400. And I primarily used it for the ceiling shots here. As you can see, I've mounted a piece of angle iron that I can clamp this little mount to. Sharpix is the company that makes it. It just mounts up here, and at the end the camera is mounted there, and it can be adjusted to look wherever I want. So that was the top mounted camera, as well as I use it in a couple different shots, but that was this camera's primary use. And the camera that probably most people are wondering about, which has the really shallow depth of field, is this, which is the Canon T1i, which is Canon's cheap DSLR, which does video. I shot it in 720p. It has 1080p feature, but it only goes up to 20 frames per second, which is pretty useless. It works pretty good as a camcorder. Obviously not a lot of manual features, considering it's a DSLR, but it got some pretty good shots, I think, and looks pretty good. On it is a 50mm 1.4 lens, and here at the end is a little filter holder for these Coke and Pea style filters. As I said, it doesn't have a whole lot of manual control, so this helps me get a little more control over the depth of field. This is just an ND filter, but there's other sorts of filters as well that you can put in there. And this is what I would probably say is my primary camcorder. It's the Sony HVR V1U. I've had it for a couple years now. It's a HDV camcorder. Obviously it's a little annoying now to be using tapes, but it's a good 3-chip camcorder, really good picture quality, and most importantly, unlike the T1i, it gives me full manual controls of the video. A majority of the shots for the OS Xbox Pro video were probably shot on this camcorder. And probably the question I've been getting asked most is about the moving shots, the dolly shots, how I got those done, how they were so smooth, as well as the time-lapse ones. And I did that with my homemade dolly here, which I made basically out of some metal, some plywood, and the rails here are EMT, which is electrical metal tubing. You can get them at any hardware store, and for a 10-foot piece it's only about $7, but you can see in between here these 2x4 cross braces, which I've made these little channels in by putting two of them together and drilling through them with a hole saw. Just kind of holds them in place. And then the dolly itself here is just a metal frame that I welded together here, and I've used rollerblade wheels and bearings. A lot of people use roller skate wheels that are angled in, that ride on the rails, but the great thing about this design, in addition to running on the rails, it really runs very smoothly on any sort of relatively flat ground. But when it's on the rails here, and usually you spray it with some sort of lubricant, you can just see it's a really, really smooth rolling that you can just set this up on carpet or anything, and it'll just give you a really great smooth dolly. And other than that, it's just a little platform that that any tripod I have sits on, and this little hook in the middle here with this bungee cord is used to just kind of hold the tripod tight onto it so it doesn't move. And for that slow panning motion control shot, I have this here, which it's actually a telescope controller arm for tracking stars or other objects in the sky. And I've adapted it here with a bicycle sprocket. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube. time-lapse is one of the big ones that are using these for doing slow time-lapse panning. And I've just adapted it with the system to pull it along the dolly track. You can see right here the mount that goes onto the special tripod that this came with. Just goes into this hole right here that I made in the dolly, and then screws on. And then the whole dolly here, I'll move over to this other track that I had pre-set up. So you can see this track is a little bit different. It has these end pieces here. I got the 2x4s again, clamping this bar down on the ends, and this board which supports these little hooks which hold this bicycle chain, which there's a bunch of BMX bicycle chains I just linked together with a chain tool that span all the way across down to the other end here, which then has this turnbuckle which pulls it taut. So the arm goes here and it just turns and the chain rides on the arm like so. And then with the use of this controller, I have two controllers. One's a little more complicated that has a bit more options and speed. This is the simple controller for the example. But that just plugs in here and powers on. And you can see it can go both ways, but just lining it up, because we're only using one direction on this, and it slowly spins. And I have a little clamp that just holds the button down while this is happening. And the nice thing about this is, in addition to the controller having numerous speeds to go, basically this is its fastest speed. It can go much, much slower, to the point where you don't even really know it's moving. You can kind of hear it though. I've seen a few other people do similar things. I think this is the first time I had the idea of running the bicycle chain to give a little more control. It could probably be done as well with just a string and putting the track at a little bit of an angle and just having it slowly reel out the string. So again, this Meade telescope arm, pretty useful here, as well as I made a little bracket to do the panning time-lapse shots. I haven't used any yet, but you can see it here. Just the camera mounts directly onto this little bracket I made, and it can move in all directions, and hopefully I'll use those and show some shots of that soon. The arm itself, telescope arm, was about $150. Everything else was really cheap stuff, but hopefully that might give you some ideas if you want to try to do one yourself. There you go. A couple people were asking about these little turntable things. This first one is one that I've had for a while. It's just a really cheap, you can see I kind of painted it white really quickly for the shots, but this is meant for model cars, and it slowly spins them around. It doesn't hold that much weight though. That's kind of straining it right there. A couple pounds really. And for the full computer shots, because I wanted to start doing those, I got this, which is, this first one was only about $10 on eBay. But this one was considerably more expensive. It was about $100, and it's made for decorating cakes. And so this one's powered by an AC cord, and this one can hold, it's supposed to be able to hold about 100 pounds. I don't know if I go that high, but it seems like it can do 50 easily. I think made by Carousel is the name. So if you're interested in looking up one of those, works pretty good for this. And the last thing I think people were asking me about were lenses, and those weren't lenses on the DSLR, although I did use a couple. For the fisheye lens, I was using this, which is just a Raynox fisheye lens, 62mm thread mount for the Sony camera over there. Just a fisheye that screws onto the lens. Lens-wise, it's not too expensive. It was about $200, but I think it turned out pretty good for the price. And even this camcorder right here, it's got a tiny one, not fisheye, but slightly wide angle for those shots where it's mounted on the ceiling. Because I can't zoomed out all the way, it wouldn't get those angles that I wanted. So, and also my arm's not that long, so it helps here. But it's just small little lens right there. So that's about it. I hope this wasn't a complete waste of your time and that I answered a few people's questions. A couple of people are also asking about the post-production side of some of the effects I did, and even a lot of people were asking me about the tools. I'm not sure what that would be, but it depends on how well you guys like this one. If you leave some comments of what you think, maybe I'll be able to get some more videos out a little more often. So I hope you like it, and if you did, subscribe, leave your comments, and thanks for watching.